Recently, Ailao Mountain in Yunnan has attracted wide attention. In a paint collector's adventure via it's not hard to see. Said Laotian is far from being as simple as it says online. Many travel ships are following suit. Push Laotian expedition. But what you don't know is, the mountain extends for 500 kilometers. So far there is no way to directly penetrate. Here, thousands of years of ancient books are towering in the sky. 200-million-year-old virgin forest filled with flatulence. This is truly no man's land. Even the locals. You can also enter at the stipulated time. You must come out within a certain time, because entire mountain ranges are affected by the Earth's magnetic field. Compass failure. Cell phone has no signal. Be vigilant at all times. Attacks by wild animals in the woods. November 13th, 2021. This mysterious geological exploration. Once again, the public's vision, focusing on Yunnan Ailao Mountain. At that time, a total of 4 young geologists were buried here. When we find them, the deaths of several people are very strange. The clothes you took off are neatly arranged next to you, with an inexplicable smile on his face. 749 Bureau has also dispatched professionals. Go to the villages around Mount Ailao to investigate. The strange events there are even more shocking. That was Zhang Zunjin's first mission in the 749 Bureau. But there were a lot of problems. Weird recordings left by cell phones late at night. To the puffy face that frequently appears in dreams. And the anecdotes told by the local village governor. The boy and girl dug up by the younger brother are constantly uncovering a vicious conspiracy. Friendly reminder. Dear babies, please, let your friends. Let's listen to a heartwarming bedtime story together. Learn that AI Laotian village. News of a strange event. Bureau 749 immediately sent Zhang Zhuanjin and others to deal with it. Investigation team of 3, rushing to Yunnan province non-stop. Yaxi Dai Autonomous Town, Xiako Village. This is located near Mount Ailao. After the outbreak of the mass death debate, most of the villagers in the village have moved out of there. In fact, many years ago, Zhang Junjin had heard of a strange local thing. It was said that Xiako village had a year. 5 or 6 people died in a week. County Epidemic Prevention Department and Township Health Center. Go to the village for an epidemic investigation. It was said that the situation was really strange. An elderly man in the village. He kept pointing at the big banyan tree at the entrance of the village. As long as the owl flies up during the day, people are dying. Neither did they at first. I woke up the next morning to brush my teeth. There was really an owl sitting on the banyan tree at the door, just staring at one of the passing villagers. Then 2 sarcastic screams. The result is the same day. Dude was back in the country in less than an hour. 2 more people really died in the village. And the cause of their deaths is also very strange. One was a local laborer. Without any warning, it falls to the ground. Families are afraid of bad luck. Superstitious to invite a gentleman. Sir just sat down in the main room and took a sip of water. Then he fell to the ground. Zhang Kanjin's action also contributed to the crime. Before being arrested, he was originally an archmage of the folk Dharma line. He is also proficient in the art of geography publishing fame. In northern Shanxi, he is also a well-known figure on the road. Unfortunately, when his fairy brother-in-law was caught, took him out. 7 dead, 9 innings. The higher-ups read that this person sincerely repents, and it was extraordinary. It was another time when there was a shortage of manpower in the 7th and 9th innings. Make an exception and give Jung Junji a chance to make meritorious contributions. In August, clouds and mists surrounded the sad lot. It was very gloomy. The investigation team departed from the city at 2 p.m., driving a jeep. Came to Shiako village at about 6 p.m. because the road is clear. Everyone parked the car at the door, slowly entered the village. I don't know if it's psychological. Since Jang Zoon-jin entered this deserted village, he had an uncomfortable feeling in his heart. The surrounding decadent and run-down houses, because it's been rainy for days and days and smells musty. Soon, Chun Yang, who was exploring the way ahead, saw a big banyan tree. He also sensed something was wrong. He subconsciously raised his head and glanced at it. There is an ancient well under the banyan tree. The wall of the well is covered with thick moss, but the water is surprisingly clear. It is said that this water quality can be used to produce mineral water. The three of them slowly walked through the shops on both sides of the street. When passing by a stilted building of about 50 square meters, Jung Zoon-jin couldn't help but take a look. It's a soup pot shop. There were only a few tattered tables, chairs, and benches inside, and a half-broken stove. It's been abandoned for a long time. Maybe it's because of the rainy day. It got obviously dark after 7 o'clock. People are also going to fix it. Go to the village where the accident occurred. So Jang Zoon-jin led the crowd. I found a house on a street corner that is relatively complete. Life boils water and eats something. It was now completely dark. Silent night deals with some buzzing. From time to time there was a strange roar. The sky also sounded muffled thunder. The rain rustled on the ground. Chen Yang and Jang Zoon-jin are more courageous, plus a lot of experience. There was no tension. Even the two of them have to drink at night. But the fat people in the same pile are not so relaxed. A nervous look, and they were drinking and talking. Occasionally subconsciously glance at the watch. About 10 o'clock. Suddenly, Chen Yang signaled Jang Zoon-jin not to speak. Then turn your head and listen to your ears. The fat man hurriedly asked him what was going on. Chen Yang whispered, I heard someone coughing outside the door. But Jang Zoon didn't hear this. It's over. The two continued to drive for about a bottle. Alcohol may have played a role. Chen Yang didn't know when he fell asleep. Jang Xuanjin suddenly had a stomachache. Then I went out to solve it. I didn't see anything unusual during the process. Just looking at the dark streets, I just don't feel right. Just as he pulled up his pants and stood up, suddenly I heard a loud noise behind me, a dull cough. He just wasn't sure. Is it the sound of Chen Yang in the fog? Before going to bed, Jang Zoon-jin wants to call the child. Suddenly found that the mobile phone has no signal here. I held my phone in my hand and played with it for a while, before drowsiness strikes. When? Turn on the recording function of the mobile phone to the corner, half asleep and half awake. The fat man suddenly felt a strong heartbeat. I also have a dry cough. Want to wake up but can't wake up. Dazed for how long? Suddenly, he heard another noise from outside the door. A dull cough. It's like an old man gasping for air. The fat man pushed the two people beside him. I saw Jang Zoon-jin waving. Chen Yang is on battle alert. The fat man rose from the ground. He grabbed a log and walked to the door. Opening the wooden door, he saw a puffy face. The dead gray sick dragon clung tightly to his eyes. The fat man subconsciously waved the wooden stick in his hand. Her hand was on the pile of wood. People are still sleeping in place. It was just a dream. He subconsciously looked at the door, found the door that was clearly closed before going to bed. It actually fell off the door frame. Something told him this night wasn't normal. But wait a while, and nothing happened. The fat man can only lie down again. His eyes glanced at the two people next to him, found the faces of Zhang Zunjin and Chen Yang in the flickering fire. Also appears very. The more ferocious you look, the more human you are. The fat man had to turn over, facing the wall on the other side. I don't know if it's psychological. The fat man looked at the pattern on the wooden wall in front of him. It feels inexplicably like a human face, and it looks more and more like the one in the dream. Her face was swollen and sick. The fat man was startled. Close your eyes tightly. Force yourself to sleep. I don't know how long it has been. The fat man was awakened by a gust of cool breeze. Open your eyes and see. Further north, he found. I actually ran into the street of the village. The cool breeze rolled the rain and smashed it over. Immediately stand at the entrance of the soup pot shop that passed by in the afternoon. I wondered if I was sleepwalking. Then he subconsciously glanced in. I found that there was an oil lamp lit inside. And here's what's even weirder. There are still 5 or 6 people sitting in the restaurant, hooking his head, slowly picking rice in a bowl. There was no sound the whole time. There were waves of fear. The fat man saw a black shadow crouching in the corner. And don't wait for him to take a closer look. The strange scene disappeared in an instant. It was just another dream. But is this really just a dream? That night, the fat man is tortured by nightmares over and over again, until dawn. Awakened by a cold wind, the 3 of them packed up and prepared to leave. When passing by that soup pot shop, the fat man deliberately glanced in again. It's the same as yesterday. Confirmed that last night was a dream. Genshin Road. Chen Yang turned his head and said something to Zhang Zunjin. Zhang Zunjin looked at the fat man and smiled, and stopped talking. They drove for about half an hour. I came to the radish village closest to Lishiyak. Before entering the village, Zhang Zunjin turned around and told the 2 to be careful. Report in time when encountering situations. When Zhang Kunjin was collecting donations before, I know the village party secretary here heard about it. Here are 2 boys and girls, dug up by geography. I want to take this opportunity to investigate together. Chatting, they started talking about the lunatic in the village back then. What everyone didn't expect was the madman who made the bloody massacre, still alive. The parents of the madmen are long gone. The rest of the family doesn't care about him. So I kept using iron cages. The child is in the backyard of the village committee, chatting. The village party secretary took the 3 to the backyard. On the way, he also made fun of Zhang Zhuanjing. Said that the director is also mixed in with the establishment now. It's rare. Several people came to the backyard. I saw a big iron cage made of rowan just welded. There's a shaggy man inside. No one expected. When Zhang Zunjin was just approaching the iron cage, the madman inside actually looked up at him. Then he opened his mouth and shouted his name. And here's what's even stranger. After the madman called out to him, the muddy eyes suddenly became sharp. His eyes slowly turned to the open space behind the fat man. Then the madman saw something. He slowly raised his hands. One hand in a bowl, one hand in the shape of a chopstick, and he nodded his head, laughed stacked, constantly make the action of pulling rice. The fat man was immediately startled, instantly feel creepy. because of what the madman was doing. Just like the soup pot shop in my dream last night. See the same person? At this time, the madman said another sentence with a hoarse voice. It probably means that I didn't have money to eat soup pot last night. I crouched in the corner and followed you. The fat man thought of the dark shadow crouching in the corner last night. Regardless of the eyes of the two looking at fools. Quickly ask what the madman means. The madman said again that he didn't eat. Soup pot is hungry. Listened to the lunatic. The fat man wiped his sweat while explaining last night's dream to Zhang Zunjin. Chen Yangi. After listening, Zhang Zunjin joked that young people should not pretend too much. Love to save face sometimes loses your life. Shen Yang took out the 3-pillar incense, while asking the village party secretary to find a bowl of rice soup, fell behind the fat man, while inserting the 3 pillars of incense on it, lighted together. He was whispering something. Zhang Sunj, it is to hand the town pool and the backpack to the fat man. Let him wear protection, so as not to encounter some more problems. Finish dealing with the fat man. The village party secretary said something even more sinister. He took the 3 of them to the woodshed. Corner of the woodshed, there's a bunch of stuff covered with torn canvas. After pulling open the canvas, he immediately took a closer look. It was a man and a woman with 2 corpses. Wear weird clothes. The hair is made into a pointed hairline. Each has a bronze medal on his chest. One of the rusted ones is particularly severe. Another piece of text is still faintly visible. It is the 3 characters of Dear Ear written in ordinary song style. That night, the village party secretary gave Zhang Kunkin 3 people eat a big cock. The recent oddity of Mount El. The village party secretary said there was no disturbance for an annual rainy season. Villages where sudden death events occur. It's really abnormal not to encounter something. After 3 rounds of drinking, under the influence of alcohol, the village party secretary talked about it. A story about 2 colleagues. It is said that many years ago, Xiako village has been abnormal for several years. So village chief Zhang Dekai went to Chukshong. I found a well-known expert. The man was surveying the mountainous landscape. Lots of nosebleeds every day. It may be the body damaged by the bad breath in the mountains. The village has to stew a big rooster every day. Boiled brown sugar eggs for him to eat. And they did this for about a week. That person suddenly stopped being meaty. He asked the village to prepare a series of equipment. The village chief is under the guidance of experts. Soak the red rope edge with dog blood. A big circle around the mountain beam. It is said to prevent something from getting away. And then there's the roaring young man. Start digging. It is said that before the attack, and the experts did something about it. Then each hand ate a willow branch and began to write. The left hand crooked and wrote the dear ear. 3 words, but the one on the right hand is blurry. Male left, female right, because women can't name themselves. It took a lot of effort to dig. They come to one place first, shouting the name of the deer. The first boy was dug only 3 times, inside a section of nomadic hollowed-out tree stumps. It's relatively intact. Just digging another lot. It's been 2 days. Or the location is wrong, or it's just not deep enough. When it was finally dug, and there's an ant colony next to it. The box is riddled with bites. The girl inside has been corroded beyond recognition. An old man fainted on the spot. When he woke up, he said he saw 2 children. He curled his lips and smiled. His face was very strange. Afterwards, the village chief reported the matter. I didn't expect to be severely hacked. Ran back in dismay. Shanglian at that time, there are already plans for a large-scale relocation. The expert did not get the back labor fee either. I packed up and went back to Chuck. No explanation was left. Because the excavation site is next to the village of Lobu, gay woman. It has been deposited in the firewood house of the village committee. The village governor's family used to be in the walnut business. Often go to Chukshong to harvest. And a bit of a traffic cop with this expert. He didn't expect the melon to suddenly fall from the sky. Quickly find an expert to inquire about the situation. After a few drinks, the other party revealed the truth about the sudden death of villagers and their colleagues. It's about the 2 years after liberation. Shiako village is one line behind the village. It's called Cold Wind, but the source of this ancient water, there is a village called Sheep, lived in the history of Poop, the oldest ethnic culture of the Yi people. It is a village where Wugu secretaries are more popular. The villagers are invariably short and not very friendly to outsiders. Just after the water area was excavated at Ship, the bottom of the stone pot is strongly opposed. They will bring this ancestral generation drinking water for countless years. It has been regarded as the private property of its own village, but Shiako village didn't get used to him either. It doesn't mean to stop at all. In the later stages, more serious problems arise. Said was halfway through the project. He actually dug out the dragon vein of Shegwodi village. The conflict between the two villages escalated in an instant. Then it started dancing. But the villagers at the bottom of the stone pot are short because of their short stature. Never hit Shiako village. It is said that 2 or 3 people were also beaten. After Shigwadi village, he begins to plot a sinister revenge plan. With some precious wildfires, a pair of virgins and girls were exchanged from Chukshong and renamed it. Then survey to the location of the dragon vein at the mouth of the stone cliff. Put this pair together. Southern women put into wooden hard purple wood psychology. Finally buried it, head down. This operation of Shigwadi village, pretty vicious, if you will. They timed it to operate within a year, the most yin-filled July. So every July rainy season, everything starts to come true. This expert, because I didn't get the later labor fee, unhappy. I don't want to worry about it. Gladly watching the relocation of Shiako village. This dinner lasted until 2 a.m. Finally, Zhang Kanjin and the others. He slept in the reception room on the 2nd floor of the village committee. This night, Zhang Zunjin always feels footsteps outside the door. Walk around. I feel that there are 2 children under the bed, a man and a woman, whispering. But according to the theory, 2 children can be reincarnated by being dug up. There's no spare time at all. When I woke up again, it was already 7 a.m. Zhang Zunjin told Chen Yang that the 2 children had to be sent away. Did you hear the sound last night? Chen Yang touched the same view behind him, and he nodded his head. He said that since he encountered it, he must take care of it. Otherwise, it will be a scourge in the future. After a professional song and dance performance by 2 people, the ghosts of virgins and girls are also liberated. Just when everyone thought the dust had settled, the fat man suddenly said seriously, "There are very scary things sealed in Love Laotian, in the lake deep in the valley." Chen Yang frowned and said, "Who sent you the message? Can your soul be used as it pleases?" The fat man shook his head. "A python on Mount Gile. The senior told me the request. It may be that the seal here has been loosened recently. Shall we go and find out?" Zhang Zhanjin had a big headache when he heard it, looking into the mountains and saying, Chen Yang and I are not good at sealing. And enter Ailao Mountain. You need a professional to lead the team. Let's go back and report the situation first. Wait for the upper management to decide. The three bid farewell to the village party secretary and set out on their way home. Zheng Zunjin, who is reporting to the higher-ups. Suddenly I heard the fat man's exclamation. The three of them looked forward together. I saw that the road ahead was no longer what it used to be. Chen Yang sneered and said, "What did this mean?" Zheng Zunjin frowned. "I'm afraid this trip is doomed." That's the end of today's story. See you in the next story.